Okay guys, let's get started. Welcome to today's presentation. My name is Jay Garnett. Today's presentation is the 4-step game plan to double your company's sales in 12 months. This presentation is for any business that has a physical presence and is doing more than $250,000 a year in sales. If you're a manufacturer, service business, a wholesaler, retailer, or any combination of those, then this presentation is for you. In the next 45 minutes, I'm going to share with you how I grew multiple businesses to 7 figures and a couple well into 8 figures. And I'm going to teach you 2 key changes that you've got to make to your books. One of these changes, even Intuit, the world's largest provider of accounting software, is clueless about. And 2 critical numbers that you've got to know before you can confidently grow your business. Then I'm going to share 3 ways that you should be growing your sales and profits of your business. But if I made a little bet with you, you're probably not doing more than 1. And last, I'm going to share with you a strategy that we use to build a $12 million a year business in 12 months from scratch. And my promise to you today is to share a step-by-step strategy to growing your business to 7 or even 8 figures. And you can rest easy. There is nothing for sale. I just wanted to share with you some strategies that I've learned in 30 years of owning and running my own businesses. And I think you'll find the information compelling and interesting. But as an incentive for you to listen to the entire presentation, I've got a gift for you. I've written a report that I call Exitology, which is basically a guide to exit strategies at the point whenever you get your business to a level where you want it to be, where you could possibly sell it or pass it on to your heirs or whatever. But there are many different options to you. And one of the things that I learned when I sold my microfilm business a few years back was it was worth a lot more than I thought it was worth. And we did some analysis of our numbers, and we found that we could justify a significantly higher price. And there's one particular technique that we use to increase the value of our business without doing anything operationally. And I want to share that with you in my report called Exitology. Now, there could be many reasons why you're here today to listen to this presentation. It could be that you have tried many times to grow your business and just found that it just not sticking. You're just not seeing any appreciable results in growth strategies that you've employed in the past. Or maybe you're finding that your product or your service is getting lost in the marketplace. It's gone stale and you're having to compete on price and you're not standing out in the market. Or maybe you're just worn out. Your dream of building your own business and working for yourself just isn't working out the way you thought it was going to work out, and you're frustrated and you just feel like you're kind of burned out and you're working way too hard for the money that you're making. Essentially, you just feel like you're stuck and you can't grow, and you'll feel like you've got full control of your business. The real problem that I've found with all my businesses is that most people never make the shifts, as I call them. And these shifts, once you make them, you're gonna be able to double your sales and profits once, twice, many times over, pretty much on command. And your business will be the leader in the marketplace. You'll be thought of as the go-to provider of whatever you're providing, a product or service, and you'll have the authority among your peers. And you'll feel financially secure about your business. You'll feel like that you finally don't have to worry about where the next sales dollar is coming from or covering that next expense in your business. You'll feel comfortable in the long-term viability of your business, because you're going to build a true financial asset that you can sell for millions of dollars. It may sound really out there for you, but you can sell your business for millions of dollars and pass it on to your heirs. And I've sold multiple businesses for 7 figures, and I can share you how to do that. Best of all, you're going to wake up every morning energized, excited about going into work, when today maybe you're just dragging yourself in there each day and just feel like a chore. And once you make these 4 simple shifts, you'll be able to double your company's sales and profits many times over. But before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. As I said, I've been in business for over 30 years. I have been involved in 15 businesses that I was either principal, owner, or at the highest level. I just to give you an example, a few of them. I was co-developer of the Archbald Cogen plant in Archbald, Pennsylvania, just outside of Scranton. We built a $47 million power plant that burned coal waste, and were able to raise the money and get it operational. I and 2 partners acquired a small internet service provider in southern Missouri, and we built that up to where we grew our sales 5-fold in 3 years, and we sold our interest out in 3 years for 10 times what we paid for them. Then I bought into a microfilm company, ended up owning all of the company, but I bought into it when it had 8 employees working out of the basement of my former partner's house. We grew it to 150 employees, and at our peak we were scanning 1 million pages of medical records per week for hospitals in the Midwest. Sold that for multiple 7 figures and made 5 times my investment on that business. And then I was one of the 3 original co-founders of a small bank in southern Missouri. We were able to get a national charter, started from scratch. We raised $6 million, and I had the privilege of serving on the bank board for 11 years. So I've been involved in lots of businesses, several other businesses I don't have time to go into, some retail, some manufacturing, a wide variety. And unfortunately, I can't say that they were all successes. I've had some failures. I know what it's like to stress over whether or not we're going to make payroll this week. I've had businesses where my payrolls were tens of thousands of dollars a week that I had to make sure I had the cash and flow to cover it. I know the pressures of owning your own business, and I've seen people that I know, friends that have also been in business for themselves. They've lost their life savings, they've lost their homes, their families. I mean, there is an ugly side to being an entrepreneur that doesn't get a lot of press out there. But I've seen that, and I'm passionate about sharing what I know about building businesses because I've done it a lot, and I'm passionate about sharing it. Want to help people avoid those things and flourish and make their businesses grow. So the key to that are these 4 shifts I've been talking about. The first one is you've got to position your business for maximum profit. It's all about positioning. And before you spend time and money, we're going to spend time and money to grow your business. You want to have your business streamlined and in a position to where whatever you do to grow it, it's going to have the maximum result. It's kind of like if you were sailing in America's Cup race with a sailboat. Before you entered the race, you're going to make sure that your boat, the hull was impeccably clean, and every appendage on that sailboat was tied down and aerodynamic. I mean, everybody's racing with the same wind, so you've got to make it so that your sailboat is going to go faster than everybody else. And the margins of victory in sailing are very narrow, as they're very narrow in business as well. So there are 3 areas where we position. It's marketplace positioning, corporate positioning, and company mindset, or I call that kind of brain positioning. So in marketplace positioning, you've got to position your product, your service, so that it stands out, that it's unique and it offers the best value. You can't just compete and be a me too and just offer the same thing. You've got to be unique, and there are many ways you can do this, and here's just a few examples. Number 1, you can offer the best guarantee. Product and service guarantees have been used since the beginning of time. Well, since probably the first product was sold. I bet that shortly after tribal members made the first spear carved out of stone, they were probably offering buy one, get one free. But seriously, including a unique and compelling guarantee will set your product apart from other competitors. including an incredible guarantee, can blow your company up. Back when Domino's got their start, their guarantee was hot and fresh pizza in 30 minutes or less. That guarantee put Domino's on the map. It certainly wasn't the quality of their pizza. There are many ways you can structure guarantees. You can offer money back guarantees. You can offer a service type guarantee like Domino's did. But using a guarantee is an excellent way to set your product apart and position it as unique in the marketplace. A second way is to offer an accessory to what you're selling. What an example of what we did is, I've got a small business down here in Texas where we offer a filter service for commercial refrigerators. And we were trying to grow that business into the educational market, calling on school districts, and we were finding that we were having difficulty getting some traction. So I decided, well, I'm going to offer them a free add-on product to it that was kind of an issue for them that would make them more likely to buy our product. And when we started offering that, our sales with school districts more than doubled, and our company-wide sales increased by 20%. Just by one very inexpensive add-on item, I changed what I was selling. I wasn't just selling filter service. I was selling filter service with free door seals, and that changed how we were looked at. It was changed the perception in the marketplace. Another area is you could just offer best quality. You could be the best. Every market's got a provider that is known as the best. There's a Rolls Royce in every market. So maybe that's where you want to be with your market. Yeah, you can charge higher prices. Usually the companies that are the best in the market, their unit volume may not be as high, but their sales volume is higher and their margins are much higher. So the bottom line, your net profit is kind of what we're all working for. The net profit is often the highest for the best quality. And here's kind of a funny one. Your product can be perceived in the marketplace as the best product just because you say it is. This technique has been used over and over for a long period of time. And a good example of this is Papa John's. Their current tagline is better ingredients, better pizza. And that just kind of infers that their product is better than other products on the marketplace, which it probably isn't, but they can position their product as one of the best products on the marketplace just because they say it is. And another very effective way of doing this is to position your product as the product of choice by educating buyers with instructions on how to choose your product. And in so doing, you are positioning your company as having the prospective customer's best interest in mind, which you do. We've talked about that. And being in that position is never a bad thing. And here are some examples. A few years back, De Beers Diamonds gave prospective husbands a guide on how much to spend on an engagement ring. And before that, prospective husbands had no idea how much to spend and probably leaned towards spending less. A very effective technique that real estate professionals use is to write a report, or in some cases even to write a book on topics like how to buy your first home or how to sell your house for the best price. You can be set out as unique by any of these techniques. They all work. Because bottom line, you want to avoid competing on price. You can't ever compete on price because it paints you into a corner that you can't get out of. Once you're competing on price, unless you have a tremendous price advantage, you're going to lose. You're going to be subject to whatever the market is. If you have a certain market share and the market declines because of recession or whatever reason, your business is going to decline an appropriate amount. So you cannot compete on price. You've got to avoid that at all costs. Second is company positioning. You've got to establish your company's position as a preeminent source for your product or service. You got to be the authority, as I said, the go-to company. And you can do this with two simple steps. Number one, instead of selling to your company, your customers, you should be educating them. You should be teaching them about products, the whole landscape of products, instead of selling to them. They will think of you as a resource as opposed to somebody just trying to come and sell them something. And secondly, you've got to develop an ongoing relationship with your customers. You got to be interacting with them on a regular basis. We send an anniversary present to all of our customers in my little filter business. I send them an anniversary present once a year. Just tell them, hey, thanks for being my customer. I appreciate it. It actually is way better than sending them a Christmas card at Christmas, because you get lost in the flood of stuff like that. But if you send them a present out of the blue when they don't expect it, and they're going to appreciate that. I'm developing relationships with my customers. And the last and most important piece of this whole positioning process is your mindset. Your relationship with your customer must be based on total integrity. You don't ever want to let your customer do anything that's not in their best interest. Now, there is an ulterior motive for this, but you always want to approach your relationship with your customer where you are doing what's best for them. You're going to take responsibility for their outcome, because what you're involved with your business is you're in a marathon. You're not in a race, a sprint. You're not even a mile run. You're in a 26.2 mile marathon. And sometimes that means you're going to make less short term, but long term you're going to make more, which is kind of what we're trying to do. And if you get your positioning right, you're going to be able to charge higher prices. It's going to result in you making more profit per dollar than any of your competitors. And if you get your positioning right, you're going to be the authority. You're going to be the preeminent business in your marketplace. And if you get all this positioning right, you're going to automatically get the maximum gain in your business. The next shift that you've got to do is you got to leverage your numbers. You got to know your numbers, and you got to leverage your numbers. Intuit did a survey of small business owners, and they found that 81% of small business owners handle their own finances. 66% of small business owners wish they knew more about their finances, and 40% of small business owners self-identify as financially illiterate, which I find that kind of funny, that if 81% of business owners handle their own finances, that means, and 40% of them are financially illiterate, means half of the people who are handling financing probably shouldn't be handling them. Marcus Lemonis, a guy I respect, the guy that's on the TV show The Profit. I encourage you to watch that every week. It's a great show. He says that if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And I take it one step farther. If you don't know your numbers, you cannot grow your business. So here are the steps you're going to want to follow to get financial clarity in your business. Now, the first one, a lot of you are going to say, this guy's an idiot. He's telling me I need to do financial statements, duh. Yeah, I know I need to do that. Yeah, I know that most of you do financial statements, but I'd say a lot of you, my experience in dealing with lots of small businesses, and I'm talking about businesses that are doing even millions of dollars, their financial statements may come out on a regular basis, or they may not come out on a regular basis, but you should be doing regular monthly financial statements, because that's the way that's the EKG of your business. That's how you run your business. You've got that's what you compare month to month. Then here's what Intuit is clueless about, is that you've got to organize your chart of accounts to serve you. If you set up a new business on QuickBooks, they have a variety of business types that you can use to set your books up with. Your what's called chart of accounts. That's the the accounts. Your assets, liabilities, income accounts, expense accounts, and what have you. They lop all the expense accounts pretty much in one area, and it's difficult for you to tell, truly what certain expenses are, because you've got to separate your expenses to provide your product or service or manufacture or whatever you have. You got to separate that from what it costs you to get a new customer, the cost to acquire a customer. You absolutely have to set your books up so that you know to a penny what it costs you to acquire a customer, because that's going to be very, very evident here in a minute when I go a little bit farther. So you get those things separated, and you've got to know these two key numbers. You got to know lifetime customer value, and you've got to know what it costs to acquire one customer. Here's lifetime customer value. It is the average value of a sale or transaction, the number of repeat transactions, and the average retention time in months or years. minus the cost of delivering a product or service, the cost to acquire a customer. And let me give you an example. Here's Starbucks. If you want to figure the lifetime customer value of a Starbucks customer, I think it's actually quite a bit higher than this, but this is just for an example. The average customer life we're going to assume is 3 years. Let's say you stop by and get a coffee 25 times a year, and the average gross revenue you just get one cup of coffee is $5. So $5 times 3 years times 25 times a year is $375. That's the gross revenue on a customer. Then the cost to deliver the product, again, just for example's sake, is $1.50 or $112.50 lifetime. So the value, the net profit value on each customer is $262.50. So what that means is that Starbucks could spend up to $262.50 to acquire a customer. Obviously, they're not going to do that, but the fact that they know what a new customer is worth to them, then they can figure out, well, how much can we spend? What kind of a coupon can we give them? What can we spend in certain markets? Because we know we're going to generate this amount of revenue by spending X amount of dollars in advertising campaigns. Once you know these numbers, it's incredibly empowering. It's almost, you can print money if you know exactly what your cost to acquire a customer is versus what that customer is worth to you. And you can use these numbers to empower your sales and marketing campaigns. You can use them because if you're taking $1 and you're spending it and you're generating $3 in net profit, why would you ever want to stop investing $1? You're probably making a lot more money on your customers than you really realize, and you're not spending near as much money on getting new customers than you thought. I mean, here's a dirty secret in businesses. There are a lot of businesses that don't do any marketing at all. I mean, it's incredible that there are sizable businesses that do very little in the way of marketing when there is money to be had for them to double, triple, quadruple their business if they spend some money on marketing campaigns and growing their businesses is right. And if you understand these things, it gives you an incredible competitive advantage in your business place. And just give you a quick example. I was CEO, president of a business down here in Texas that manufactured a device that utility companies use to work on their circuit breaker boxes. This device sold for $22,000, and our profit margin on each unit was about $18,000. So we had a very high profit margin. So, knowing that information and knowing what it costs to acquire a customer, we could spend a lot of money getting a new customer because we knew what they were going to spend on a unit. So use that stuff to your advantage. The next shift that now that you've got some foundation, we've got positioning right, we've got our sailboat in great race form, then we know our numbers. So now we can start actually doing some stuff. And this next shift is what I call reinvent your business. Now, a shocking figure that I didn't realize until I went back and did a little bit of research. The Fortune 500 was first released in 1955. Since then, only 71 companies remain in business. 86% of these businesses are gone. What do you think that number would be for small businesses? What percentage of small businesses are still in business since 1955? I'll submit to you it's on the order of 1 or 2% or less. Companies must constantly reinvent themselves, or they're going to go out of business, or they're going to be overtaken by companies that do reinvent themselves. Not reinventing your company is a death sentence. Just ask these guys. Kodak, any major newspaper, Sears, if you remember, was a huge force in retail sales. They're a shell of themselves. And then there's the Blockbuster story. I mean, Blockbuster was on every street corner 15, 20 years ago, and they owned the market. They were huge back in the 90s. Now, and in the year 2000. In the year 2000, they were given the opportunity to buy Netflix for $50 million, and they turned them down. Well, today, Blockbuster is out of business, and Netflix has a market cap of $54 billion. That's because Blockbuster didn't reinvent itself. So there are three critical phases of reinventing your business. I'm going to talk about all three of them. If you concentrate on these three areas, it'll be your business that competitors are trying to catch, and it's going to be your business that provides the fresh, innovative products in the marketplace. Now, the three areas, they're optimize, diversify, and innovate. So before, again, kind of like setting a foundation of positioning and a foundation of knowing your numbers, we don't want to spend a lot of money on growing our business until we optimize what we're already doing. You're already getting customers a certain way, regardless of whether you're getting through referrals or through your sales force. Regardless of how you're getting new business, there you can certainly optimize it and make it better. And here's the magic of sales optimization math. Just for an example, let's say you have a sales funnel that you're generating 500 leads per year, and right now you're able to close 10% of those leads on a yearly basis. And let's say the average sales $1,000, and they make 2 purchases a year. So if you add all that up, you're talking about $100,000 in revenue as it current sits. Again, imagine that's a sales funnel that you have going right now. If you just improve each step in that sales funnel by 10%, you get a geometric effect in your gross revenue. If you improve each step 10%, it results in a $146,000 revenue, or 46% increase. If you improve, optimize each step by 25%, the gross revenue increase is 144%. You're more than doubling your sales just by improving each step in the process. So if you focus on it, don't you think that if you focus on those steps, don't you think you can make them better? Don't you think you can close more leads if you focus on it, if you shine a light on it and figure out how to make that happen? So that's optimizing sales and marketing. The next area that you need to optimize is every process in your business. And I know this is a major undertaking. I'm not saying you need to not do the other parts of this reinventing your business until this is complete, but you need to take a look at every process. Now, when you optimize processes, like maybe you optimize how you manufacture a part, or you optimize an administrative process or an accounting process, you don't get the geometric bump that you do when you optimize sales funnels. But what you do is when you optimize a process, that is bottom line improvement. For every dollar you improve in your processes, your administrative and productive processes, that goes straight to your bottom line. So when you improve a dollar of sales, most companies' profit margins are in the 5 to 20%. A dollar of improvement in sales only results to a 15-cent improvement in bottom line. But when you improve your business processes, your bottom line improves dollar for dollar. So it's pretty exciting when you're able to do that. So that's optimize. So once you get your business optimized, you got this sailboat ready for the race. You've got the numbers that you know, and then you get to where you've optimized your process. Now you're really ready to branch out. And so we talk about diversifying. And first we talk about diversifying sales channels. Most businesses, surprisingly, amazingly enough, are only getting new customers, new business through about 1 or 2 methods. It could be referrals, it could be word of mouth, it could be just by virtue of where they're located. If it's a retail organization, there are lots of businesses that don't really branch out and try other sales channels. Direct sales, lots of businesses have direct sales forces and things like that. But there are a wealth of other sales channels that you should be pursuing as well. So if you're getting all of your business through 1 or 2 sales channels, and you add 1 or 2 or 3 other sales channels at, say, 5 or 10% improvement, at 5 or 10% additional sales, and you take that times 3 or 4, right there you're talking about a 20 to 30% increase in your sales. What if you did all of them? What if you did all of these additional sales channels? You could increase your sales by double just if you start selling through different methods. And I know you're going to say, well, I've tried them all. I've tried them all and it doesn't work. Well, I can tell you that they do work, not for all business. I'm not saying that every single one of these sales channels is going to work for every single business, but they do work. That's why people use them, why they're effective. Now, I mean, and the other reason why you want to diversify is you don't want to be beholden to one particular sales channel. For example, I owned a online beach store that's sold beach products, and I actually bought the business back a few years ago, and it had at the time was number 2 and 3 for many keywords, and we were able to sell lots of product just because whenever they would Google a particular type of beach chair or beach product, our company's name would come to the top. So that's called organic Google organic search listing, and I didn't pay for anything for that. It's just because we were positioned well, it had been around a long time, and we were doing well. But what started happening is Google started messing with the search rankings and how companies search. So that particular sales channel that we relied on dried up, and people stopped buying because of Google search, because they we weren't coming up in their search listings. So because we were diversified, we had more sales channels, we were able to weather that storm. You got to have not just to grow, but just to survive long term, you got to have multiple sales channels, and I encourage you to look at different ones to grow your business and to kind of build a strong foundation. I mean, because what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket, if you trip and fall, it makes for a big mess. So what you talk about diversifying, and then we're going to talk about some strategy. Diversifying is one thing, but being a strategic seller is quantum leaps. This is one other technique I'm going to share with you, or where you get 5 times and 10 times growth, or even way more than that. I want to talk to you about strategy selling. Online marketers have really been very innovative at how they sell things. It's been exciting, and we can learn from online marketers how they sell a variety of things online, whether it be a diet pill, a nutritional supplement, or what have you. But they have a thing called self-liquidating offer that can be used in bricks and mortar businesses, and I want to share a story with you. The objective of the self-liquidating offer is to build a list, not necessarily to make money. There's a story of 2 jewelers that Jay Abraham tells, where when cubic zirconia diamonds were invented, there were 2 jewelers in Los Angeles decided they wanted to see if they could sell a bunch of them. So they each took out a $30,000 full-page ad in the LA Times. And the first jeweler, he was really good at writing copy and did an excellent job of getting lots of sales. And he sold $42,000 worth of diamonds with that $30,000 ad. And counting his costs and everything, the cost of providing the product, he made about $3,000. Then his a competitor who's not quite as good at writing copy and getting sales, they were able to sell only $28,000 worth of diamonds, so they lost money relative to the ad cost, but they were strategic about what they were doing. What they did is whenever they were selling a small cubic zirconia diamond for $39, and they sent the diamond out. They put it in a super fancy packaging with a felt bag, and they put a certificate of authenticity with it, and they put a letter in with the diamond, and they said, if you're interested in possibly upgrading this diamond to a much larger diamond, here's what we have for you. We can sell you, at that time, as a 5 or 10 carat diamond, and put it into an 18 karat or 14 karat gold setting, and we're going to sell it for a price that you're not going to find at any jeweler. It's going to be typically 50% of what you can find in any jeweler. We'll pay the return postage. You can return this smaller diamond back. We'll pay return postage, and we'll actually guarantee you that you take this new diamond that you buy, you take it on approval for 30 days. You don't have to pay for it for 30 days. And if you like it, keep it and pay for it. If you don't, then you can send it back. This jeweler sold, in the next 12 months, sold $25 million worth of diamonds. And they are selling the same product as the other guy. It only sold $42,000 worth, but the other guy wasn't strategic about his selling. He gave up. He only made $3,000, but the strategic seller of cubic zirconia diamonds, he grossed $25 million over that time frame. So if you're strategic, that puts your business, your marketing tactics on steroids. And the last phase to reinventing your business is innovate. Innovation has been the catalyst that companies all around the world since the beginning of time have used to achieve quantum gains in sales and profits. There are literally hundreds of examples, thousands of examples over the years of how businesses have gone from a tiny company to a huge company through innovation. It's not just innovating by creating a new product. It can be innovation through a process. I mean, Henry Ford innovated how automobiles were manufactured, and obviously that innovation had an explosive and quantum effect on Ford Motor Company. Hughes Tool Company is another example. Howard Hughes' dad, Howard Sr., innovated by inventing a rotary drill bit that revolutionized how wells were drilled for oil. It was 10 times more effective at drilling through rock than previous drill bits. It made Howard Sr. very wealthy and gave Howard Hughes, the Howard we know, his start in all the entrepreneurial efforts that he pursued. Then I've alluded to a company that I was president CEO of here in Texas that went from zero to $12 million in sales in 1 year, and that was completely through innovation. My partner invented a simple device that allowed utility companies to maintain, work on their high voltage circuit breaker boxes, and it made it much more safe for them to work on their boxes than it had been before. There was no product on the market like it, and it took the market by storm, and we sold just tons of these products to utility companies and large manufacturing companies. And then there's the story of Fred Smith and Federal Express. Fred started Federal Express in the early 70s. A few years prior to that, he had written a paper as a student at Yale University describing how he wanted to start an overnight package delivery company. And legend is he got a C on it, but he was modeling his business after the system that the government used to route checks around the United States. If you remember back in the day, they used to fly checks from all these banks and brought them to a central hub and then distribute them. So the checks had to get transported each night so the checks could clear the bank. And Fred decided he was going to model that system and create a package delivery business. And the rest is history. Obviously, FedEx has become extremely successful business. Fred has become a multi-billionaire, and now even Federal Express is responsible for transporting a lot of the postal services overnight package flow. So when you innovate, it's just amazing to the potential you have. And one little important point I want to make is if you're looking to innovate, which you should be, one of your biggest assets are your people. Sit down with your employees, and really doesn't matter if it's even a line worker or whomever. Sit down with your employees and make a point to take a look at everything you're doing and look for quantum leaps and through innovation. You can innovate by coming out with a new product. You can innovate by revolutionizing, like Henry Ford did, a process, or like Fred Smith did. I mean, Fred Smith didn't invent anything. He just took a system that was already in place and applied it to another use. So I've described how you can grow your business through optimizing and diversifying, and that will give you a certain amount of growth in your business, but innovation will exceed all of those multifold. Jay Abraham makes the statement that innovation basically involves making obsolete that which you did before. So we've talked about optimize, diversify, and innovate, and that completes this shift. And the next shift, the final one, number 4, is invest in mentoring. All successful people invest in mentoring, and they do it without hesitation. Everybody should have a mentor. Having a coach or mentor is what separates the people at the top of their profession from those who just achieve mediocre success. And here are a few examples. Entrepreneur Magazine recently did a story featuring several of today's business leaders attributing at least a substantial part of their success to a mentor relationship they were a part of, they were a recipient of. People like Shark Tank's Robert Herjavec, TV syndicated commentator and financial guru Susie Orman, Bloomberg Inc.'s Michael Bloomberg, now the mayor of New York City, attributed a mentor relationship that he had with Solomon Brothers founder, I don't remember the guy's first name, but Mr. Solomon, that had a profound impact on his success in his companies. Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin Records and Virgin Atlantic Airways, attributed a relationship he had with Freddie Laker to a lot of his success. Even Mother Teresa attributes a great deal of her influence in the world and the good that she has done for the world to a mentoring relationship she had with a seminary priest in Massachusetts, of all places. They carried on a correspondence of 25 years that she said was a great deal of help to her and was very influential to her successes. Mark Zuckerberg attributes a lot of his success to his relationship with mentor Stephen Jobs. And then there's Indra Nooyi. She is the CEO of the second largest food and beverage company in the world. And a quote from a recent speech she gave, she said, if I hadn't had mentors, I wouldn't be here today. I'm a product of great mentoring, great coaching. Coaches and mentors are very important. Mentors bring you two things. They bring you new ideas and they bring you accountability. There's undoubtedly some ideas that you've heard today that had you not listened to this presentation, you wouldn't have known about, you wouldn't have thought of. That's what a mentor relationship brings to you. And accountability, obviously, I'm sure every one of you have been to a weekend seminar, or you've gone through some really neat seemingly effective technique or strategy or a new way of doing it, and you've gotten excited about it, and then you've gone home to your business and maybe tried it for a day or two, but then stopped trying it just because there was no accountability to it. You didn't have to talk to somebody once a week or twice a month to hold you accountable for it, and that's what a mentorship relationship can do for you. A good mentor will give you great ideas and make sure you act on them. A great mentor will also put together a powerful group of people all working towards similar goals. This multiplies everyone's effectiveness. And one thing I found as an entrepreneur is a lot of times you kind of feel isolated. You feel like there's really no one you can talk to. There's no one you can bounce ideas off of. You feel, like I said, feel isolated, especially in Missouri where I live. There weren't a lot of entrepreneurs like me, and I just didn't feel like I could talk to anybody about it. And mentors give you that somebody who has had similar experiences, who you can talk to, who you can bounce ideas, and it just makes you more effective as a leader and as an entrepreneur. And the other thing is, entrepreneurs are often tacticians, where they have a couple of skill sets that is what really made them successful in their business. They might be a great salesperson or a great engineer or a great whatever their specialty, the thing that they do best, but they are often lacking in other areas. So what a mentor will do is help round out those skill sets and help give you a broad foundation of skills that you can use to lead your company to the next level. So today I promised that I was going to share with you how I built multiple businesses to 7 figures and a few to 8 figures. And I shared with you the 2 key changes you need to make to your books and the 2 critical numbers that you've got to know in order to confidently expand your business. And I shared with you the 3 ways that you should be growing your business, and that was the optimize, diversify, and innovate, of which most of you probably aren't doing more than one. And then lastly, the strategy innovate was what we used to build a $12 million business in 12 months from scratch. Now what you need to win is you've got to position your business for maximum gain. You've got to structure your books to serve you and know your numbers. You've got to constantly reinvent your business through optimization, diversification, expanding, or innovating is what I said in my presentation. And you've got to invest in mentoring. These 4 shifts alone are enough to double your company's sales in 12 or 24 months, sometimes even less. So right now you have a choice. You've been listening for a while now, and I know you've been listening for a reason. Maybe it's because you're frustrated with where your business is and you're looking to get it to the next level, or maybe you're struggling, you feel like you're just barely keeping your head above water. You're working 6 to 7 days a week, 8-10 hours a day, and you just dread going into work every day. And maybe the net profits you're making each month isn't worth the time, the effort, or the risk that you're taking. I've been there. I know from personal experience what you're going through, and I can assure you that there is a way out. Isn't that really what you're looking for? Isn't that why you have set in on this presentation? Are you wanting to break out of this and get back to where you are in control of your destiny? You're in control of your business. Your business isn't controlling you. You control it. What do you think it would feel like to get your business to 7 figures if you're not already there? If you're at low 7 figures, what would it feel like to get it to $5 million in sales, $8 million, $10 million a year in sales? Well, here's how I can help. My team and I have set aside time in the next week or so to speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your business starting today. We'll talk about your business in depth. We'll talk about specific steps that you'll need to take for your business to get it to the next level, regardless of whether you wanted to get to 7 or 8 figures. And the cost for this, absolutely free. There's no catch. There's absolutely no obligation. So who is this for? Number 1, you've got to be absolutely committed to hitting your company's growth goals with total integrity, with true concern about your customers' well-being. I've always done that in all my business and won't work with anybody who has anything other than that in mind. Your gross sales must be a minimum of $250,000 a year, and you must have a physical presence and not be online only. Now, why am I doing this? Well, because I love helping owners build businesses. I mean, there's a reason why I've started, bought, sold, merged 15 businesses over the last 30 years. It's because I truly love, it's a passion of mine of building businesses. It's what I was meant to do and what I love to do. And so I have the experience, and I have the passion and the commitment to help business owners get to where they want to get and see the successes that I've been able to get. So on the call, we'll help you get total clarity about exactly where you want to get your business to and the exact steps to get you there. And if you want us to help you, and if it's a good fit for us, and if it's a good fit for you, we may invite you to become one of the new clients we take on this month. Now, if we work together, we'll help you implement the same strategies that have been used to grow hundreds of businesses multiple fold. And these are the same strategies that we've personally used. We'll expect your company to grow 50% within a year, and for it to be on a rock solid foundation with incredible potential. So to get your company on a path to the next level and take advantage of a free strategy session with me, then you need to click below. When you do that, you're going to see my schedule and the call slots that I have available. Now, I don't have a lot available, and they do fill up fairly quickly, so you need to click right now to get the call scheduled. When you do that, it'll send me an email, and then we will get on a call, and we'll get you to where you need to go with your business. I thank you so much for participating in this webinar. As you could probably tell, I love this stuff. I enjoy it, and I want to give back. I want to share what I have. Click below. We'll get on a call, and we will get you on your way to where you need to be with your business. This is Jay Garnett. I wish you all the best of luck with your business.